Hello and namaste everyone, welcome to this new video. Without further ado, let's go into today's content.
Okay, so today we are going to talk about competitive scholarship. We have Abhishek Bosnet, who got the Next Genius Scholarship. Next Genius Scholarship भनेको चाहिँ के हो भन्ने बारेमा चाहिँ हामी फर्स्ट ह्यान्ड इन्फर्मेसन लिन गइरहेको छौँ. So, first of all, please introduce yourself, Abhishek.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Abhishek Postet, and I am an incoming freshman at Center College, class of 2028. As Shubham mentioned, I am also a Next Senior Scholar. I did my primary and secondary schooling from St. Xavier's School, Jalahil, and I did my A-levels from St. Xavier's College, Maitigar.
Okay, wow, wonderful. So, first of all, मैले तिमीलाई आफ्नो एजुकेसन ब्याकग्राउन्डकै क्वेसन सोद्धाखेरि होइन, how was your experience in doing A levels in St. Xavier's?
I would say it was fantastic. A-levels join गर्ने बेला चाहिँ सुरुमा चाहिँ I had difficulty adjusting because it was an international curriculum, and many people, not just me, they found the switch very hard. धेरै मान्छेलाई गाह्रो लागेको थियो, but in the end we all persevered. Ani अर्को unique कुरा for me was we had online classes at the time when I joined A-levels. And the transition from online classes to physical classes was also a bit difficult, at least for me. But aside from that, I would say I had a fantastic experience. The subjects I did, which was a science combination, I took mathematics, English general paper, chemistry, computer science, and basically I had swapped physics for computer science. So my subject combination was a bit weird, but overall I was considered to be in the science combination, and it was very fruitful for me. In terms of events as well, Maitigar is a very, very wonderful place if you are considering extracurricular events as well. The A-level curriculum also encourages you to know subjects outside of your books, so it really fits well with extracurricular events as well. So yes, my time at Maitigar was absolutely fantastic, and if you're looking to do A-levels, I would absolutely recommend it.
Okay, so congratulations, Abhishek, for getting into Center College. It's a really
Thank
good
you.
college, एकदमै prestigious college हो यो एउटा. So, कुरा गर्दै जाँदाखेरि तिमीलाई A levels गरेर चाहिँ तिम्रो कलेज एप्लिकेसनमा कतिको हेल्प भयो त तिमीलाई सेन्ट्रल कलेज अप्लाई गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ how was the difficulty level?
About A-levels, I think A-levels is a bit better if you are considering education abroad later on, because what you get taught in A-levels, IB, or even AP exams that they take in United States is it prepares you for an outside perspective. धेरैको experience चाहिँ नेपाली education system में होला. But as you know, Nepali education system emphasizes a bit more on theory rather than practical for many subjects. And what American undergraduate education demands is more practical and more hands-on experience. So I think A-levels is better for that. And alongside that, many A-level colleges, they tend to have a specific counselor if you want to apply abroad. And those counselors are very, very helpful. And in my case, at least, it was due to the counselor that I found out about this entire process. She was the one who introduced me to the fact that you could apply to United States. Before, I had the misconception that if you did A-levels, you could only just apply to the UK. But no, she told me that you can apply to the US. You can also get good scholarship. And that was the main thing that I really needed, because, for a lot of Nepali students, cost is the biggest factor, right? So yes, I would say those two are the biggest things to consider, and A-level is really helpful for that.
Okay, so thank you for sharing your A levels experience in Maitigar. अब let's go into our topic of discussion. So, the first question is, सबैको दिमागमा आउँछ, what is Next Genius Scholarship? यो भनेको चाहिँ के हो त? अरू स्कलरसिप भन्दा डिफरेन्ट किन छ त यो?
All right, so Next Genius Scholarship चाहिँ अब नाममै होइन, Next Genius छ होइन. अब I don't mean to brag. I don't think I'm a genius. I think I'm pretty average, like every other student out there. But so Next Genius Scholarship Program, it was established in 2014 by an Indian philanthropist, and its purpose is to connect middle income South Asian students with top colleges in the United States. But initially say it was limited to Indian students only. तर 2021 देखि चाहिँ Nepali and Bangladeshi residents also became eligible for it. And their mission statement is basically, we are looking for change makers. We are looking for people, who will not just study one fixed subjects. We are looking for people who will actually contribute back to the society where they came from, who will, make a positive change in the world. So they look for students from a more middle income background, and they connect those students with top liberal art colleges within the United States. And there are a handful of universities from other places, such as Spain, and even liberal art colleges in India itself. And they give you a very good amount of scholarship.
Okay, so the thing is, you mentioned particularly about the liberal arts colleges, right? So what's the reason behind it? Just I'm research university ma apply garna, like we want to apply into research university, so next semester scholarship won't be helpful to us.
It's very helpful because next year scholarship it partners up with universities, right? So it has currently partnered up with 15 universities, 15 liberal art colleges. And what you do is they send you relevant information. They send you info regarding from, if you were to select this certain college, what would the living expenses be? What's the climate like? Where is it located, right? And it's entirely you who makes the choice. They give you 5 college choices, right? So from the list of 15 partner colleges, you choose 5 colleges and you rank them based on your preference. About my experience, so the 5 colleges that I initially chose was, I think in the first it was Trinity College. It's a pretty famous college in Connecticut. Many international students also apply to it. They are very generous. Trinity College. In second, uh, in second, I applied to Sewanee. It's also known as University of the South. I think I'm mispronouncing the name here. All right. So Central College was actually my third preference. This was all done based on, a couple of factors ranging from climate to living expenses, and depending on the availability, right? So let's say you applied pretty late to next senior scholarship, then you could get placed into your fifth choice college. But if you're early, in my case, if I was a bit early, I could have been placed in the slot for Trinity College as well. But fortunately, let's say, because I absolutely love Center College now, fortunately, I got placed into the slot for Center College. So yes, it's very helpful when it comes to picking colleges. They also give you resources on, how you can select colleges outside of the next year scholarship as well. They do, acknowledge the fact that international students need aid, right?
Yeah,
And the
exactly.
next year scholarship, it only covers tuition. They mention this explicitly. They also consider your ability to pay for housing and such. And they also encourage you to apply for need-based aid at other colleges outside of the next genius list as well. And they do give you tips, they do give you resources so that you can, not just excel at getting the next genius scholarship itself, but other scholarships as well. So yeah, very helpful. If you are applying to just the next year scholarship, it's helpful. If you are applying to many other colleges, it's still helpful.
Okay, so in our second half, we will be coming to your preference of why did you choose like Center College and what are its features. But for now, let's just stick into the topic of next series scholarship, and let's go to the eligibility criteria, or who is eligible to apply for next senior scholarship, what are the qualifications we need, and uh, I would also like to ask you, like, are there any specific academic levels or are there any specific criteria for academic evaluations as well?
Oh, yes, that's a good question. So I think I should make this clear. Every college applicant knows that the college application process is holistic in the United States, at least. They don't just look at your grades; they look at everything else, your extracurriculars, your SAT scores, and it's the same thing with the next year scholarship as well. They look at your academics. It's obviously helpful to have good grades, but they also look at a common app profile as well. Like The Common App and the Next Genius scholarship process, it goes hand in hand. Basically, whatever you enter in the Common App, you have to submit the Common App PDF to Next Genius as part of this entire process. So yeah, it's very relevant. And as for eligibility, there's three criterias. One, you should be in grade 12 or you should be in a gap year. You can't, apply while you're in grade 11. That would be too early. But a good thing is that Next Genius does not only offer college scholarships, but it also offers scholarship for summer programs. So to the viewers who are in, let's say, grade 9, 10, or 11, I would encourage them to follow the Next Genius page on Instagram or on any other social media. The last thing I recall is they conducted a summer program at Oxford and Cambridge University just 2 weeks ago, I think. And while the competition was tough, there were 2,000 students, I think. Um, Two students actually got to attend prestigious summer programs at those universities, absolutely free of cost. So I think it is worth trying out. And similarly, there was also an entrepreneurship program at UC Berkeley, and Next Genius basically helped pay for the selected students' air tickets, everything. So I would encourage grade 11 students to check that out. Now, the second eligibility criteria is citizenship. It's about citizenship. You should be a citizen of India, Nepal, or Bangladesh. Even if you aren't a citizen, you could technically qualify if you are just residing in these three countries. I have seen a scholar from South Korea who happened to be residing in India at the time, and he also managed to get the Next Genius scholarship. So that's the criteria. Basically, you should be residing in one of the three countries. And lastly, the third criteria would be your academic transcripts. You should have them available, basically. It's not just exclusive to the Next Genius process. If you're applying to the colleges, obviously you need transcripts, right? So you should have transcripts from grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. So basically, that's the three main eligibility criteria. As for qualification, like I mentioned, it's a holistic process. So there's no defining factor. But I think in order to, get an Next Genius scholarship, I think not only should you excel in academics, you should also excel in non-academic events as well. They want to see you participating in meaningful extracurricular events. They want to see you take up leadership roles. They also want you to be social. They also want you to uh, talk to other applicants. This is very important. I'll specify later why. They want to see you be able to hold a conversation, to start meaningful debates. And lastly, they also want you to be creative, very creative.
Okay. So now moving on to next question. The next question is about our application process. So if I am in grade 12 right now, how do I start my application, or what's the process of applying to it? What are the checklists that I should have before applying?
So basically, you need your transcripts on hand from grade 9 to grade 12, like I said. You need basically everything that's required for Common App, ranging from your teacher's recommendation letters to,
Okay.
proof of certificates if they ever ask for it. I've heard of certain colleges, asking for proofs of certain extracurriculars. So it never hurts to be, have proof of it.
Yeah.
And Next Genius also requires a certain amount of fee. During my time, it was rupees 700 Indian currency, 700 INR. But if you are from Nepal, you could ask for a waiver. That is what I did. I didn't pay a single rupee for this entire process. You could email them saying that you are from Nepal, and you might have difficulty paying, because that's what happened to me. I didn't have anyone from India who could make the payment on my behalf. So I reached out to Next Genius and they graciously accepted it. And basically, yeah. And another thing is, if you're looking for aid, you'll obviously need to fill out the CSS, right? So you should have the necessary documents necessary for the CSS. For example, let's say your family's income statement. You need to have that on hand as well, because like I said, Next Genius also, while it does offer generous scholarship, it also checks for your ability to pay the rest of the amount. And so you also need your family's income statement. If you own a home, then you'll need proper documents certifying the price of your home right now. And so yeah, basically it's a very broad requirement. Everything that you need for Common App or CSS, that will be required by Next Genius as well.
So, I could see like 95% of our checklist and document matches exactly to the next senior scholarship that we are preparing for the college application. The only thing that I have never heard was the certification of the ECS, because in Common App we could just mention them, but in next senior scholarship we have
Yes.
to prove them that we actually got involved in these things and we achieved
Yes.
something.
Yes, like, but I should mention this is not common. Like, this is just like, an emergency scenario. Like, you never know what might happen. This is because I've heard one or two cases. It never happened to me personally. It didn't happen to other Nepali applicants as well. From, I talked to them. It didn't happen to them, but they kept bringing this up during the Zoom sessions. Next Genius carries out a lot of Zoom sessions before the final round, so you have ample time to prepare. And so basically you should keep this at the back of your mind. Like, don't be scared, like, because in Nepal we don't exactly have the best record keeping, so you might not have certificates lying around, but you don't have to worry. It's just if something looks suspicious, or they just want to check. So that's a very rare scenario. I don't think you should really worry about it. Just focus on the main application itself. Focus on how you can, word it better, how you can make it sound appealing. Yeah, just stick with that.
Okay, so this is just a follow-up question to the previous question. Are there any essays for next senior scholarship, like we have to write essays, supplemental essays, like that?
No essays really, but it depends on which college you got matched into. Like in my case, I got Center College, right? So Center College didn't have any extra supplemental essays. It was just the Common App essay and a short section about why did I pick Center College in 150 words, I think. In 150 words. It really depends on the college you got matched into. If it's a college that has supplemental essays, yes, you will have to do it. And you will submit that essay to Next Genius. It's under your Common App PDF file that you have to submit, right? So yes, there's no extra essays. It's just the essays that you have to write for college. It's a Common App essay, and if there's any supplemental essays, you just have to do those.
Okay, so previously you mentioned about that next senior scholarship explicitly cover, like they mentioned that they cover the tuition fees, but I want to ask the question again, like how much funding can we expect from the next senior scholarship? Is it the same amount for every student, or does it vary according to students as well?
It varies according to the colleges, I would say, because there's 15 different colleges. All of them will have varying costs. And basically, I think you could classify scholars into two categories. There's the full tuition winners. Basically, they get full tuition for the duration of the 4 years, meaning even if the tuition fee increases, they don't, have to do any other extra processes. Their scholarship also increases with it to match the increase in tuition fee. And then there's the partial tuition winners. So they get about 50% of their tuition fees covered. In some cases, if the college is feeling extra generous, or they just have a lot of money lying around, they could be generous. Because I have heard colleges like Dickinson College is also a partner of Next Genius. I've heard of Dickinson going beyond full tuition. Like, they've also covered housing as well for some of the winners. So if the colleges feel generous, they will go beyond full tuition. But it really depends. Certain colleges, depending on their funding, there could be two or three full tuition winners. Certain colleges will have only one full tuition scholarship, while other colleges will have plenty of partial tuition scholarships. In my case, Center College initially had just one full tuition scholarship. It was a very close competition, actually. It was so close that they had to make up a new category. basically. The category was called alternate winners. So what an alternate winner means is if the full tuition winner gets an even better offer from another college, let's say they got a full ride, right? So they can choose to decline the next year scholarship. In that case, if they were to decline the next year scholarship, then that would pass on to the alternate scholarship winner. And even with alternate scholarships, there's just two positions usually. There's just two scholarship, like there's two alternate scholars. If both of the alternate scholars rejected, then nobody gets the full tuition scholarship. That hasn't happened yet, but usually, because usually the full tuition winner, they take the scholarship that has been offered to them. So in my
Yeah.
case, it was a very close competition. There was me and there were two other candidates, one from Nepal, one from India. The Indian applicant got the full tuition scholarship initially, but later on, when center sent me my acceptance letter, it increased my aid package from partial to a full tuition. That was for me as well. That was for the other Nepali applicant as well. So we got incredibly lucky, because initially I was kind of disappointed, right? Because I actually lost by a very close margin. Like the interviewers actually told me later on in a Zoom meeting that all three of you were very qualified. We just couldn't decide. But in the end, it worked out for all three of us. All three of us, got full tuition. And and for Center College, the tuition increases by $2,000 every year. Um, we don't have to, do any other special process. We do have to write a letter, like, to just notify the office. But yeah, our appeals do get accepted, and our tuition fee does, get covered up by the scholarship for 4 years.
Another question is it renewable, or after we get it, it covers whole tuition fee of 4 years and we don't have to do any type of process the following year?
So about the tuition fee being renewable, if you are a full tuition winner, absolutely, it is renewable every 4 years. Like I said, if there's an increase in tuition, the scholarship will cover it. And also another bonus fact, if your college does study abroad programs, then basically you don't have to pay any extra because the tuition fee covers the study abroad experience. So that is a big bonus. If you got a full tuition, you should absolutely use the study abroad. It's free, basically.
Okay, so previously I forgot to ask you a question about the competitiveness. How competitive is next Genesis scholarship? What's the acceptance rate?
So basically, it's very competitive. They haven't released the figures for the 2023-2024 application season, but what they have mentioned is this year was the highest applicant count they've recorded. It was well over 1,200 plus students. So it is very competitive. Among this 1,200 students, basically, I think I should explain the entire process as well. Because what happens is the 1,000 count, it gets reduced to about 200 to 300 students. So that's a very, huge gap. Like that's the first round. What is the first round? Well, the first round is you filling the forms out. And as part of the forms, they also ask you to record two videos. Basically, if you have noticed, ठुल्ठुलो prestigious universities they expect applicants to make a introductory video. Brown University does that. Baldwin College does that. You know, if someone is applying to MIT, there's an option to make portfolio videos. So there's a similar option, mandatory for the next junior scholarship. That's the first round. In my case, what they did was they asked us two questions. What is one problem that you would like to solve in today's world? And the second question was, why did you pick this certain college? So you have to make two videos. It has to be under 2 minutes as well. So that's the first round. And it's surprisingly effective because, like I said, 1,200 people, they get reduced to 200, 300 people based on videos, based on what they wrote in the Common App profile. You are expected to send a Common App PDF as well. So it's a very rigorous process. Then there's the second round. The second round is the final round. final round. Basically, the final round consists of an alumni interview. Uh, an alumni from that college will interview you, and then you get shortlisted into the final actual proper round. So what happens is you get placed into a group of 20 people. There's 15 colleges. All of these colleges will have their own groups. The groups usually consist of 20 people. मेरो केसमा चाहिँ 23, 24 जना थियो, aside from me. So I was competing with 24 other applicants. And what happens in the final round is the admissions officer from those colleges, they directly have a one-on-one interview with you. They directly have one-on-one interview with you. And then there's a group interview stage. मैले अघि त्यो social conversation, having a social conversation skill is a must. Being social is a must भनेको थिएँ. That is where this shines through. Basically, you are expected to, discuss topics, discuss problems. Like I said, the first round, what is the one problem that you would like to tackle in today's world? You are expected to debate that with your fellow applicants. You are supposed to, respectfully, say that whether you agree with them or not, you have to state your opinions. And at the end of it, the person that's the most well-rounded in the eyes of the admissions interviewer, in the eyes of the next senior scholars mentors, those are the ones who get the scholarship. And at this rate, I think it's around 50 scholars at the end. 50 scholars at the end. It started with
Okay,
1,200 people,
1,000.
ended with 50 scholars.
Wow. So, Sundaharine, it's
Very
very
competitive.
competitive, very competitive. Also, so it's from India, and is there anything like they give more preference to Indian students?
Oh no, like even in the group for Center College, out of other 24 people, there were I think six Nepali people. Even among the six Nepalis, I think only three were from Kathmandu. There was representation from outside the Kathmandu Valley as well. And like I mentioned, there is another Nepali recipient who is also going to Center College with me. There are other Nepali scholarship winners who will be going to other colleges as well. So I don't think there's any biasness towards Nepali applicants. मजाले apply गर्दा हुन्छ. You don't have to be scared. In fact, I think it benefits you a bit because you get fee waivers. You can ask for fee waivers. They understand because we don't have a proper payment system right now. So I think it favors you a bit, I think. Yeah, it all
Okay.
depends upon you as a person.
Yeah, धेरैजनालाई थाहा छैन नेक्स्ट इनिसियल स्कलरसिपको बारेमा होइन. अब यो भिडियो हेरेपछि चाहिँ मेनी भ्युवर्स विल गेट टु नो अबाउट नेक्स्ट इनिसियल स्कलरसिप. अनि आई हाइली इन्करेज यु टु अप्लाई, किनकि अभिषेकलाई सुन्दाखेरि नै एकदमै राम्रो छ, कम्पिटेटिभ छ, किनकि यो राम्रो छ बिकज इट्स कभरिङ फुल ट्युसन फर यु. अब अर्को कुरा भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ तिम्रो आफ्नो एप्लिकेसनमा हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ वाट वाज द मोस्ट वाट वाज द मेन फ्याक्टर that got you this scholarship?
If I have to guess about actual matter, no one can tell later, I know which part of the application was best, but I think it was my social skills. I have always been a debate person. मेरो extracurriculars ni Model United Nations, debating, creative writing तिर छ. And like I mentioned, in the final round, I think I really had a good conversation with my interviewers. What I noticed was many other applicants, they were a bit scared. And they were very, very formal, okay? Like to the point where it was actually hurting them. Like they were very scared to, be open to fluently talk with other people. And no one was really starting the conversation. So what I did was I basically, started debate. I basically, talked to almost every other applicant. Like I brought up their point, I discussed it, and one of the memorable highlights for me was one of the interviewers from Center. He looked like one American actor that I really liked. So I brought this up during my conversation. I mentioned to him, "You look like Brendan Fraser, that American actor who played the main character in the Mummy films." And he actually
Okay.
laughed and he said, "Yes, the resemblance is there. So, we really bonded over this uh, tiny moment. Like I said, the other applicants were way too formal. They were referring to the interviewers as sir and ma'am. I don't think there is anything wrong with that, but they were very, polite and formal to the point where it sounded a bit forced. के त्यो natural personality नै shine भएन के उनीहरूको.
Okay,
And
so
I
they were
think
not
that was
open.
my strong point. They were not open. Like college application where everyone says be yourself.
Yeah,
Basically, I would
exactly.
say I was myself. I was myself.
I think Western countries मा younger people भए पनि elder भए पनि you भन्ने भएर होला हाम्रोमा त three forms of आदर छ नि
हजुर,
त.
yes. Yes, त्यो नि होला त्यो डिसरेस्पेक्ट. I might be disrespecting them भनेर नि त डर भित्र हुन सक्छ. Yes.
ओके, सो अब तिमीले चाहिँ आफूले चाहिँ पर्सनली के सजेसन दिन चाहन्छौ यो भिडियो हेरेपछि? ल ठिक छ, म नेक्स्ट सिनियर स्कलरसिप अप्लाई गर्छु भन्ने स्टुडेन्टलाई चाहिँ अब तिमीले यदि यो गर्दैछौ भने यो कुरामा चाहिँ ध्यान देऊ है भनेर भन्छौ नि त?
अब पर्सनली सजेस्ट गर्नु पर्दा चाहिँ होइन, अब कति धेरै भाइ बहिनी होइन, अब दाइ दिदी नि हुनसक्छ ग्याप इयरमा बसेको होइन, उहाँले चाहिँ यो भिडियो हेरेर नेक्स्ट इयर चाहिँ फुल ट्युसन मात्रै गर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ नसोच्नु होला है. बेनिफिट्स चाहिँ हुन्छ नि, इट इज नट अल इन टर्म्स अफ मनी. नेक्स्ट जिनियसको कम्युनिटी नि धेरै राम्रो छ. स्कलर्स हेभ गन अन टु गेट जब्स एट वाल स्ट्रिट होइन, फ्याङ कम्पनीज, एमाजोन, गुगल, नेटफ्लिक्सहरूमा नि काम पाउनु भएको छ प्रिभियस स्कलर्सहरूले. कति धेरै स्कलर्सहरू अहिले हार्वर्ड, कोलम्बिया, एनवाई जस्तो ठाउँहरूमा नि मास्टर्स गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ. सो यु गेट एन एक्सेस टु एन एक्सक्लुसिभ कम्युनिटी. You can connect with them more easier on places like LinkedIn. Approach गर्न मिल्छ. They will help you out because both of you are next senior scholars, so they will help you out. अनि अर्को कुरा भनेको next seniors also offers internships to its scholars. So when you are in university, if you are worrying about not having an internship in the summer, you can always hit up next seniors. They will help you internship go, and it's a paid internship as well. So it will help you, manage your money and finances. अनि lastly, the tip is be yourself. होइन, अब अरू कलेजेसहरूको कलेज एप्लिकेसन गर्दा नि यु विल हेभ टु फेस इन्टरभ्युज, एलुमनाई इन्टरभ्यू. इट्स नट एक्सक्लुसिभ टु सेन्टर एज वेल. अरू ठाउँहरूमा नि हुन्छ, नेक्स्ट इयर्स बाहिर नि एलुमनाई इन्टरभ्यू हुन्छ. लेट योर पर्सनालिटी साइन थ्रु. Obviously be respectful, but at the same time don't be too formal that you end up hurting your own application है. म चाहिँ एउटा इक्जाम्पल दिन खोज्छु है. अब डिस्कर्ड भन्ने त्यो मिडिया साइटमा, नट एभ्री वान माइट बी फमिलियर. बेसिकली के भयो भन्दाखेरि अ जुनियर अप्रोच मी, उसको चाहिँ स्ट्याट्स धेरै राम्रो थियो. स्याटमा नि 1500 प्लस, एकाडेमिक्समा नि अल ए स्टार्स ए लेभल गरेको. बट अनफर्चुनेटली ड्युरिङ दिस कलेज साइकल हि वाज भेरी अनलकी. उसले पाएन. नेक्स्ट जिनियर्समा नि अप्लाई गरेको रहेछ, बट हि कुडन्ट मेक इट टु द फाइनल राउन्ड. त्यो एलुमनाई इन्टरभ्यू पछि नै नेक्स्ट जिनियर्सले चाहिँ उसलाई अनफर्चुनेटली मिलेन भनेर पठाएछ होइन. सो मैले उसलाई सोधेँ कि तिमीले के गर्यौ होइन, वाट डिड यु डु रङ भन्दाखेरि टर्न्स आउट हि नेग्लेक्टेड इन्टरभ्युज. के त्यो इन्टरभ्यू र त्यो भिडियो बनाउने पार्ट चाहिँ उसले अलि हुन्छ नि, केही छैन त्यो, अब एप्लिकेसन छ, इट विल वर्क आउट फर मी भनेर त्यो ओभर कन्फिडेन्ट भएछ क्या भाइ चाहिँ. सो
ओके,
अनफर्चुनेटली इभन दो हि ह्याड स्ट्याट्स हुन्छ नि, हि कुडन्ट मेक इट टु द फाइनल राउन्ड के. सो ट्रिट एभ्री पार्ट अफ द एप्लिकेसन भेरी हेभिली होइन. अब यु माइट हेभ गुड एकाडेमिक्स होइन, बट द्याट डजन्ट मिन मेरो एसे हावा भयो भने नि मान्छ भनेर. ट्रिट एभ्री पार्ट अफ यर एप्लिकेसन हेभी, फ्रम द इन्टरभ्युज टु एसेस, सबलाई कन्सिडरेसनमा लिने, एन्ड जस्ट गो अलङ विथ इट, जस्ट गो विथ द फ्लो भन्छु म चाहिँ.